some good news for Lloydminster motorists. The city will begin Lloydminster-wide residential snow removal on Monday. Work will start in the green, orange, and pink zones before moving on to the rest of the city. Signage will be posted ahead of time asking residents to move garbage carts and vehicles from the street before crews arrive. Most areas will see snow plowed into windrows in the middle of the street that will later be picked up by loaders. The city says the residential removal could take up to 4 weeks, and if we see another big dump of snow, crews may be redirected to the city's main arterial routes. The Knights of Columbus raise funds for many groups in the border city, and yesterday they brought some of those funds to Winston Churchill School. It was all made possible by community involvement, Glenn Alford said, remarking that at how much local businesses and the community helped to make these donations possible.
As part of the proceeds of our annual golf tournament held at Lloydminster Golf and Curling Club, we raised just over $15,000 this year in June, and we were able to distribute that to a number of different groups within the city. And part of that was to present to the Lloydminster Public School Division a $1,500 check to help out with the kids' breakfast program.
The Knights of Columbus hope to raise even more money next year. The annual Here Comes Santa Claus event is set to go for another year. Stacey Comer found out it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Kurt Price is joining me this morning from the new Lloydminster Nissan. Kurt, so happy to chat with you today about an amazing event that's coming back here in a few weeks.
Yeah, if you can believe it, Stacey, Here Comes Santa Claus is into its 15th year. And once again this year, everything downtown that day for Here Comes Santa Claus completely free.
And that's December 3rd, Kurt. And you've been a big part of this since the beginning. And so many families get to enjoy this, like you said, for free, just because of everything that goes on. So kind of walk me through what's planned for this year.
Well, the last 2 years it's been scaled down. So this year we're really excited to bring back the big food events. So the pancake breakfast with the Lloydminster Kinsmen and Sobeys is back. And this is the great thing about the Kinsmen. They phoned us and said, hey, this is the year we bring this back. We really want to do this. Synergy Credit Union has sponsored the fireworks for the last 2 years, but they really like the Wiener Roast. And so the Firefighters Association and the Lloydminster Fire Department are teaming up with Synergy Credit Union, and they're going to bring back the Wiener Roast that day as well. So breakfast is at 7, Wiener Roast is at 11 till 2. And it's great to have some of these events back that have kind of disappeared. The cookie decorating is back. That's at the United Church. Secure Energy is sponsoring that with Co-op, and we're going to call it Carols and Cookies this year. We're going to have some Christmas carols there, and we're also going to be decorating some Christmas cookies. So it's lots of fun stuff, and of course Santa. We had Santa, if you could believe it, last year. And I was thinking about this the other day, like how strange the world was for the last 2 years. We had Santa outside last year. Santa and the Grinch were outside. And so when we phoned Service Credit Union and we asked them, we're set to ask them if we can bring Santa and the Grinch back in the Atrium Center. I phoned Becky at Service, and she is like, before I even said anything, she's like, Kurt Price, are you bringing Santa back to the Atrium Center? We've been talking about this. We've been waiting for this. So that's the excitement that builds with some of our corporate sponsors, and Service Credit Union has been with us 15 years, and they and New Lloydminster Nissan sponsoring the fireworks this year. And that's changing a little bit. We've had that downtown. It's always been a bit of a contention with the fire department because there's so much downtown, and even I start to sweat a little bit when the fireworks go off downtown. There's vehicles everywhere. So we've worked with the Lloydminster Fire Department and our fireworks supplier and the Lloydminster Exhibition to move the fireworks to the Lloydminster Exhibition. This is still a downtown event, but just to keep everybody safe and secure, we're going to move it out to the Lloydminster Exhibition. So if you want, you can watch from your vehicle. If you want, you can even go in the grandstand. The Lloyd X is going to sweep the grandstand off for us. So some new things, some older things brought back, but once again, everything free. Like I mentioned, Santa and the Grinch. Santa's got treats from J Guard to hand out while supplies last. I think there's 350 treat bags and 300 Dairy Queen treat meals, courtesy of Fountain Tire, the Grinch. And we've well, I should mention, I keep going. Well, I never shut up here, but um, we try to make things better every year, try to bring things in. We kind of hit a wall 2 years ago, but we're really excited that we've been able to grow this year. So our pictures with Santa will have a new big backdrop to make those pictures look even better. And it's not professional photography, it's just mom and dad with their camera, but I'm sure you'll be able to get some really, really nice photos with our backdrop now. And then you can email those photos in or any photo in with us, and you can get a professional photographer to take your picture because Noise Photography and the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce are going to give away 20 free photo sessions at the Lloyd Mall with Santa. So that's a great partnership that came from the last 2 years. I hate to even say the word. So from the last 2 years, yeah.
Well, Kurt, you mentioned a number of sponsors. Volunteers also are needed to make this event happen. And I know you have a lot of people every year who step up. Are you in a situation now where you still need some volunteers, or is everything pretty much covered?
No, we could use some volunteers, especially working with Santa, especially some young people. We're really excited that Center Stage Studios is helping us out. So Center Stage is going to help with the Christmas carols, and they're also going to be um, helping with some of the characters that are running around that need direction and things like that. So, and we'll have a lot of characters downtown. We'll have Olaf out again. We will have new this year Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think there's something else that's new, and his friend the Bumble. The big Yeti, I guess he is.
Right.
Whatever he is, the big Bumble guy. They'll be at Walking on Water Toys, and so there'll be a chance to take some pictures there. The Gingerbread Man will be working with the Connect Club over at the Olive Tree because Sobeys is going to supply us and Century 21 Drive is going to supply us with 100 gingerbread houses again. So the Gingerbread Man will be there for some pictures as well. And that's something new that came over the last 2 years as well. So the mayor was actually asking me the other day, he's like, when are we going to find details about this? Because he's been a big supporter of Here Comes Santa Claus. And when I started to think about it, I went, we've actually been able to do some really interesting things over the last 2 years and now incorporate those into the new day. Like, well, I shouldn't say it's new, but 15 years. Legacy DIY wasn't there 2 years ago. So kids can stop in at Legacy DIY, make a glass ornament and get a balloon creation made. So that's right across the street from where Santa is. What a blessing that has been. And Hank Divorce has been with us, in one way or another. Stephanie Dobson been with us, and I know Stephanie well for 15 years as well. So that's really impressive that she's stuck with us every, even through the last 2 years. We have these great businesses like Synergy Credit Union, Service Credit Union that have been with us for 15 years now. That's pretty amazing. And when you started talking about it, I just pictured a 5-year-old kid on Santa's knee, and now he's 20, right? Might be bringing his own baby to
Well,
see
Kurt,
Santa Claus.
congratulations, honestly, on this event. Like, this is just something that people look forward to every year and families come together. And the fact that this is free is just incredible. So we've gone through a lot, but is there one place where people can find all the information?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because we have a Facebook page. So you can look us up on Facebook at Here Comes Santa Claus. And also in the Meridian Source, we have all the details there. And you'll want to do that because, for example, we have a Crude Master Transporters and other companies been with us for a long time, sponsoring a free matinee. And there are like times coming out the yin yang. They start at 9 o'clock and end at 3:15 to go see Elf at May Cinema 6. So check us out on Facebook or check out the Meridian Source where we have the details listed for you. And I will tell you this: the times are wrong for Santa and the Grinch in the paper. They're last year's times. We forgot to
Okay.
switch them back to this year's time. So next, they'll look right on online, and then we'll correct it next week. But yeah, there's just a lot of fun stuff, and and I should mention that Stingray has been a sponsor of this for 15 years as well. So you'll hear our ads on the radio soon as well. 15 years been working on Here Comes Santa Claus with some great people like yourself, Stacey. I know you were there for the first one as well. Well, there was no
Well,
snow. There was no snow for the first one.
yeah. Well, there's been some different weather for the past 15 years.
Was
Each
there
time
ever?
you never know what to expect. So, Kurt, congratulations once again, and thanks for chatting with us today. And we look forward to this family-friendly event. Always a good time, and kudos to you for always being the one behind it and getting things rolling with it.
Well, thanks a lot, Stacy. Appreciate it.
Now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for a look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast. We are just sitting at -12 here in the border city and not seeing too much sun either. Unfortunately, looking at a much more gloomier day today than what we have been seeing, with that wind chill even feeling like -22 outside. So it's definitely feeling a lot more cooled down. If you're out there, make sure you are driving safely and also layering up when needed, because it is feeling a lot more cooled down for today. Aren't seeing too much sun either, but don't worry, we will be warming up tomorrow into the weekend. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. Most spots following suit, seeing those double digits like us here in the border city. Most around -10 to -13 degrees over on this side. Wainwright just at -14, while we go a bit higher up. Lac-La-Biche and Edmonton both at -9. So they are just seeing those single digit points over in those spots. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side now, they are looking around the same conditions as what we are seeing on our Alberta side. Some spots are seeing those double digit temperatures as well. Most are around -13, -14 degrees over on the Saskatchewan side. -10 for Meadow Lake and Green Lake, seeing that -11 up in Pearceland. Isle Lacrosse looking slightly warmer at -8, and then down over in North Battleford and Macklin just at -13. So most spots are just seeing probably the coolest around -14 for right now. So cool down quite a bit after the past couple days, but we've seen worse, so not too bad. North Battleford will be going down to a low of -18 for their evening low, so cooling down by like around 5 degrees tonight as they head into the evening and throughout the night, and they will be seeing that those cloudier conditions continue throughout the evening as well. And looking into Friday for North Battleford, they will be looking at -6 for their daytime high. Partly sunny, so definitely warming up quite a bit from what they are looking at right now, and they're going to be seeing a mixture of some sun and clouds throughout the day, so not seeing too bad of a Friday for North Battleford. Cold Lake will be going down to a low of -14 tonight. So cooling down quite a bit for Cold Lake. They won't be seeing too high of a chance of some flurries tonight, so it will be a little bit more calm as well. So then tomorrow they will be looking at -6, not as cold as what they saw today, but they will be seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud. Cloudiness more off in the morning, and then seeing that sun kind of peek through those clouds throughout the day. And now looking at here in the border city, going out to low of -16 for tonight. So just be prepared. We will be cooling down, but not quite hitting that -20 just yet. With that wind chill, it will feel, past that. But for tonight, I'd say probably don't need to plug in those vehicles just yet. Just make sure you got your furnace ready and those extra blankets to keep you warm. And then tomorrow for us here in the border city, looking at -8 for our Friday TGIF. Not looking too bad for a Friday here as well. We will be looking at a mixture of some sun and clouds, so warming up definitely compared to what we are seeing for a gloomy day today. And now ending off with looking at a look at your 3-day forecast for here in the border city. We will be looking at -8 tomorrow for Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, looking not too bad for those temperatures. -10 Saturday and -4 Sunday. So just be prepared. We are kind of seeing a beautiful weekend coming up here in the border city. That's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
It's time now for us to take a look at this week's cattle report. Here's Thomas Wildman.
We're here at Northern Livestock Sales, and right now, right behind me, we're having the All Breeds Calf Pre-Sort Sale here behind us. They're also going to have their Bulls and Cows Sale later on today, and so it's been a very exciting day here. But now we'll take a look at the market report from last week. Last week, November 6th to November 12th, there was total on offer 7,138 cattle. And so for slaughtered cattle, the young cows were a range of 100 to 110. The D1 to D2 cows were 75 to 85. The D3 cows were 60 to 70. And the mature bulls were 115 to 125. Then looking at feeder cattle, up to 400-pound steers were 300 to 364. 400 to 500-pound steers were 300 to 335. 500 pounds to 600 pounds were 365 to 285. 600 pounds to 700 pounds were 235 to 255. 700 to 800 pounds were a range of 230 to 247, and 800 to 900 pound steers were 220 to 240. Then looking at feeder heifers up to 400 pounders were 220 to 240. 400 to 500 were 220 to 250, 500 to 600 were 210 to 233, 600 to 700 were 200 to 225, 700 to 800 were 200 to 215, and 800 to 900 were also 200 to 215. There were no steers or heifers from 1,000 to 1,200 or 900 to 1,000, and there were no butcher steers on offer. And looking at show results from last week, of course, there was Farm Fair International, where quite a few of our local breeders went down to compete. And once again, Twin Springs Farms with Mater Darlin were the grand champion Simmental female, and of course, won the Supreme champion once again, meaning they've won 2 of the Big Supremes here in Alberta. And they will, of course, be looking to continue that success on going into Agribition at the beginning of December. Also, some other breeders that did quite well were Sylvia Cattle Co. in the main Anjou breed. Greenwood Cattle did quite well in the Limousin breed. And of course, one of our young breeders, Brand Walgren, had the grand champion female in the junior futurity. And that will do it for this week's Cattle Report. For Primetime Local News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
And now let's take a look at today's agriculture prices. The Lloydminster U13 female Blazers were crowned earlier this year as the Good Deed Cup champions. As well, now they are being recognized as one of the teams of the year here in the province. Players got together Tuesday night to take photos after Hockey Canada announced the 2021-2022 Blazer team as the team of the year, most notably for making the sport of hockey inclusive for everyone. Players from the team spoke about where they were when they first heard the news.
I got home from hockey practice and it was really exciting. I was getting ready for school and my mom's like, guess what, you were named Team of the Year this year. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I was very excited and I couldn't wait to see other girls' reactions.
The Blazers were just one of 3,000 teams in the province selected for the award. As a result, they will receive funding from Lloydminster Minor Hockey. However, the exact number is still yet to be determined. And now as we head to the break, it's time for us to take a look at some Pet of the Day photo submissions that we received this week. You can always head over to our Facebook page and post a photo of your pet for a chance to win. And don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be giving away a Pet Pad gift card.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Cassidy Yurichuk with Per Babies Forever Homes. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Cassidy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I really wanted to be able to speak with you and help get the word out there because Per Babies Forever Homes is having their Home for Christmas adoption special. Now, what exactly is this, just for people out there that are unaware?
Yeah, for sure. So we're having an adoption special for all currently adoptable cats that we have in care. And the adoption fee is reduced, so it's actually just $100 right now for all cats and kittens. And that fee includes them being up to date on vaccines, they're microchipped, they're dewormed, and they are also spayed or neutered if they are older cats. And then the younger kittens, they get spayed or neutered once they are of age, but that is still included in the fees. So even if you adopt them as a kitten, once they're of age, you can just contact us and we'll book the spay or neuter appointment, and then it's still covered under us, so you don't have to pay for anything. So that's all included in the fee.
And when exactly does this event run until, for people that want to get involved in this adoption event?
So it started on November 13th. So it's currently on now, and it goes until November 27th. So you still have about just over a week. I think if you're still interested, you can, there's still time to send in an adoption application and get your meet and greet set up and find a cat that you want to meet or adopt. Yeah.
Now, is this the first year for Per Babies Forever Homes to have this adoption event, or has there been previous years that you've had this just before the holidays?
We have had previous adoption specials as well. We did do one last year. It was a little bit different though. We had a little bit of a different deal. So this one differs in that way because it's also shorter. Sometimes we've done adoption specials for a whole month, but this one is just 2 weeks and it's a better deal. So
You said this adoption event has started on the 13th of this month. So, how has that response been so far? You've been seeing some strong support?
so far, yeah, we've had pretty good responses so far. We've had some adoption applications come in, which is nice. And we haven't had any adoptions yet, but we are hoping that some are coming up. We still have lots of meet and greets booked that are happening in the next week. So hopefully we'll get some adoptions in the next week.
Well, that's really good to hear. And why has Per Babies Forever Homes decided to have this now for November, right before December and the holidays? Was there something that really inspired to have this adoption event?
The main reason we're having this adoption special is really to get as many cats into their forever homes as possible. We need to make room for new cats to come in. We need to have our foster homes open so that we can bring in more cats and rescue more cats. And Per Babies doesn't have like a building or a shelter. We're strictly foster based, so we cannot rescue cats unless we have fosters to help us out. So we really need adoptions to clear the foster homes and be able to bring more cats in from the cold.
For Cassie, well, I'm really glad we were able to speak and help get the word out, before the 27th comes up because time flies. So I'm glad we're able to speak now. And exactly where can people look online for more information in case they just want to check it out?
So we do have a website. It's perbabiesforeverhomes.com. There you can find all of the currently adoptable cats and kittens, and you can also find the adoption application that you can fill out. The foster application is also on there. And if you have any questions, there is some information on our website about the fees and what the fees include. Although the fees on the website are the regular fees, it's not the special price right now. And then if you have any other questions, you can also email us from the website. It'll automatically send to our email. And then Per Babies also has a Facebook page. And that's where the fosters usually promote the adoptable cats, is on the Facebook page. So you can also join the page there and you'll be able to see a lot of the adoptable cats.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Cassidy, and hopefully this really helps out and you'll see some strong support for this.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined here today with Constable Kelsey Davidge with the Lloydminster RCMP. Winter is in full throttle and the road conditions have been affected. So it's important to keep a few things in mind while driving on the road. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, of course.
Let's start off with residential roads since they seem to be worse than the highway due to the less traffic. So getting stuck can happen quite often. What should people know or do if in the event that they do get stuck?
Yeah, unfortunately, plowing is not really, we only have so many here in Lloyd, and we try to get to, or the city tries to get to the roadways as quickly as possible. One thing I recommend keeping in your vehicle would be maybe a small shovel. So that way, if you were driving a vehicle that was lowered to the ground, or you did happen to get stuck in some snow, you're able to shovel yourself out. We also always recommend that you tell someone where you're going when traveling so that they have an estimated time of arrival for you. So say you were ended up being 20, 30 minutes late, that person's able to maybe figure out where you were, and then you could get help that way by having someone come get you.
Now, you mentioned having a shovel in your car. I personally have 2 emergency kits in my car at all times. What other items should drivers be keeping in the event that they possibly need it, whether their car doesn't start or they get stranded somewhere?
For sure. So we always recommend that someone has a winter travel kit. Some items that I would consider packing in your vehicle would include some water, maybe some protein bars or granola bars, a quick snack that would be able to stay in a vehicle for a long period of time. Blankets, we always recommend. Any phone chargers that you may need if you were to be stuck somewhere. Flashlights are always a great idea, or even a flare. And always your window scrapers or snow brushes as well. Another thing that would be great to keep in your vehicle for this time of year would be cable boosters in case you have a dead battery or in case someone else has a dead battery and you're able to assist that person.
I'm sure you've already seen a ton of this, but with winter roads comes accidents, whether it's on the highway or in town. What should people do if they see an accident, or how should they drive around it in the most safe way?
Yeah, so again, just like when you see emergency vehicles, please be cautious of that person or that vehicle when on the side of the road. We understand that with this weather comes accidents. So always drive cautiously during the winter because there is that additional snow and ice that just kind of add on to the top of driving as there is. If you do see an accident and you're able to obtain the plates off the vehicles that were involved or the make and models of those vehicles, you can always call the detachment at the non-emergency line and report that. If you're able to pull over to the side of the road safely, by all means, please do use your four ways and you can assist those people if needed. And obviously, if it's a major collision where there's injuries, please call 911.
Now, brushing snow off your car is the main activity during winter to ensure snow isn't covering your windows and windshields. I have noticed that some might leave their license plate covered or their tail lights. How much should people be brushing off? And is there any penalty for not having snow brushed off in certain places?
Yeah, so just like a windshield, we would like vehicles to be cleaned off completely actually as well. So make sure you're hitting your tail lights, your windshield, your mirrors at the tops of your vehicles if possible, because if that sheet of ice was to fall off your vehicle and hit someone else, that would be able to or could cause an accident. And yes, please brush off your license plates. That's a way that police and the people around you are able to know what that vehicle is and register it to that kind of person, if that makes sense. So there is a ticket for having an obstructed plate where police are not able to see it. So just add that into kind of your routine when cleaning off your vehicle, that you make sure that your license plate is clean.
Is there anything else that the RCMP would like to remind drivers while on the road this winter?
Again, in addition to equipment and safety, we always want you to plan your route ahead and let someone know where you're going. If you're not familiar with your route, you can make sure that you always have additional time, or make sure that you have a map or a device that you can use mapping properly on, hands-free, of course. Also consider stopping overnight if the roadways are closed. Sometimes you have no other option. So possibly look ahead on your route to see if there's any place you could stay if that was to happen or happen to occur. Always consider too that a vehicle may break down at any point in time. So having someone to call or coverage with that is always a good thing to have. And just giving yourself that extra drive time during the winter is key.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today to get this information out there so the roads can hopefully remain a safe place for those driving this winter.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be slightly warming up tomorrow with -8 for our daytime high. Not as cold as today, but we will be seeing a mixture of some sun and clouds, so at least we will hopefully get a little bit more sun tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, actually looking at a beautiful weekend coming up here in the Border City. -10 Saturday, and then we will warm up dramatically on Sunday with -4, not as cold, and seeing a little bit more sun on the weekend as well, so make sure to take advantage. It's going to be beautiful. Then Monday, we're starting off warm with that 1 degree for our daytime high. Seeing a high chance of some flurries, but not seeing too much sun. We won't be seeing too much sun next week. -5 next Tuesday, so cooling down quite a bit, but we will be warming it back up next Wednesday and Thursday. Look at that. Looking at -1 next Wednesday and even seeing that 1 degree again next Thursday.
Thank you so much for that, Shelby. Love to see those positive temperatures heading into next week. That's all the time we have for this edition of Primetime Local News. We'll see you again tomorrow.